up, up, down, down, up, that, yep, right, oh, left side's too high. Up. Hey guys, it's Brandon and Danny, a howler. See, that's how you start a video. We got a Mini Cooper. Guy's going to turn into SCCA, asphalt road course racing car. So we're going to put him a cage in. But he's also requested a kit cage. So whenever we get along through this, we're going to make duplicates of everything. And he can take that back home with him. He's from Connecticut. We're in Columbus, Indiana. So it's like a 14-hour drive for him. It's quite a bit of a drive. Start off with, you want your car stripped out. Plates, look at the rules. A lot of places have a limit on the size of your plate. We used 1/8 inch. That one's formed to the rocker, but it's like 4 inches by 5 inches for the front. Like 4 by 7-ish for the rear. We're going to do this in segments because there's quite a few steps to these. But I already got these, the rear hoop, bent. We just got it in place. Got the halo and some other stuff. The cup holder there to connect our tubes across the bottom. We had to cut it out. And then we're going to lean this back to run flusher in the center of the B-pillar. Now, if you're good enough with your tube bender that you can do all that with a piece of paper, that's great. If you're like me and you can't, you buy Bendtech. And if you've never used Bendtech, you can design chassis. They've got templates already made up. You can select your bends. So say rear hoop, we're going to select that one. You have to calibrate the machine to your die. That's where it figures the dimensions. Have to go up here and select your material. We're using 1.5 DOM. We'll just put my ERW settings in for now. And your die. And then it pops up the template. Then you just fill in the blank, basically, how you want everything to fit. And if you've got it calibrated right, it'll come out about perfect every time. You got to take into consideration some of your spring back, and the machine will take that into consideration as well. You just got to fill it in, make sure you're accurate with it. So I mentioned the Bendtech and the plug and play, and just for example, I'm going to show you here. See that there? It'll draw this out as I put in the dimensions. So say we wanted it center of tube to center of tube, 36 inches and 36 inches. You get some loops because it doesn't have all the information. Say you wanted that 36 inches. Your top width, we'll say 20. And then from the front back, or top down, we'll put in 15. It just however you want it. So we've got that just sitting in place. I've already got the halo bent. A lot of the compact cars, you can't put the rear hoop in and the halo in and weld at the same time. So we've got the rear hoop just temporarily stationed. I'm going to go ahead and put the halo on, get it welded solid, and then weld the rear hoop in. So we put the halo up, tacked it in place, flip this all forward. You can't see it because my screen's cracked. Nice pretty welds. Flip this back in place and weld it down to the plates.
Cutting the down bars for the front.
So hateful. Now, one of the reasons that I wanted to start my Facebook page, as well as the videos, was to kind of go over some of the tools that I used whenever I was getting started in I didn't know what tools was the best bang for the buck. That's a jet bandsaw. I bought it probably about 4 or 5 years ago whenever I got serious about doing cages and fab work. That's been a good tool, everything except the flimsy pulley guard. Tube bender, JD squared, electric hydraulic. Works great, fast. Notcher. Got a low buck notcher that's great for doing 90s, just square notches. And then we got the Bailey TN250, which I've used quite a bit. Hole saws. I've got an Irwin on right now. I don't really care for them. Usually I'll use the Milwaukees. They seem to last quite a bit longer. But you've got quite a bit of adjustability, flexibility in that notcher. What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm sitting here looking at this. What do you think I'm doing?
Rear down bars, welded plates in. Get the tube matched up behind the halo. Then he's going to mark a tube down here so that it sits flush with the plate. And since we're Irish, we got a new shop mascot, Newton. Front down bars are in place. Center bar across the halo, rear hoop, and the diagonal bar.
Shut up.
You're asking me, shut up? So do you want an answer or not?
Yes, get over here. I'm working on top.
No. Location in the chop saw. Whichever way you're going. Mark the front side. Front side. Front. Yep. Yep. Then when you put it in the chop saw, you can just stick that line towards you so you know you're lined up. Otherwise, your notch may not line up. So, rear hoop bar behind the seat. I've already got it drawn up here, but I'll show you. Bentech has got an option that whenever you draw it out, you can get into your display and click play or restart, since I've already played this, and then play. And it'll show you the marks it gave you and how it wants you to bend the tube. So I got one bend already done. JD squared model 32. Electric, hydraulic. Back this off. Went to 93 degrees per Bentech. Pull the pin and your strap off, then you can move your tube. This die, the benders, a lot of them. I've got different steps. You'll go like 50 degrees, pull the pin out, move a die back, drop the pin in. Just extension of the ram, basically. So I got it in place, my mark at the end of the die. Throw a level on down here, get our tube level. Tube bar. Level. Mark's good, not that you can see it. And we're bending. Pin out. Ram back. Pin in. And reach your 93 degrees and you're set. Run the ram back off. Pull the die pin out. Your other pin and strap. And you can take your tube out. Spin the die back around, drop the pin back in. I've about got this finished up. Everything's in place except I've got to make the driver's door bars. Halo. Some of the rules across your roof area will call for a diagonal bar. I don't like a diagonal bar. I like running it straight front to rear. I just don't like things over your head. When you span it out across from the back corner to this front corner, it makes that center pretty weak. So that's how I do those. Bar behind the seat. These guys like extra room so that they can lay their seat back. Or if you've got a taller driver, you can get the seat back further. I always put a tube in here connecting the rear hoop and the halo. Helps hold that together. Takes some of the pressure, assuming the cage went into a bad wreck. It'll help hold that together. The front, I typically do it on the front, but these guys like their room to get in and out of, so I don't know if we'll end up putting it on this car or not. Pretty close to the pillar, about 1.5 inches or so away. A lot of the cars, the guys request you put them right against the pillar. The only problem is it makes this area up in here where it connects very difficult to weld. On top of, I don't like putting a lot of bend in here. Again, if you go and flip, the more bend you got, the more likely you're to collapse there. So that's how I do these. Got a diagonal vertical bar there, tied into the top bar, down to the base, and then back to the seat bar. Kind of help hold all that together. And then the rear down bars. Some guys like the X's, some want them straight. He wanted them straight, so whenever he loads up to go to a race, he can just put his spare tires and everything in the rear area. Again, some of those, just depending on the rules, will allow you to go all the way to the back bumper. Some want like 8 to 10 inches away from the back bumper area, so he should be cleared there wherever he wants to go.